Hello, welcome to Movement Not Miracles. I am Anna from Eat, Move, Be Happy, and it's another beautiful, very chilly but very sunny day, which is just how we like it. I don't mind the cold as long as Martha, timing is impeccable, as long as it's sunny. So I'm going to try and get out and about this afternoon with the dogs for a bit of fresh air. Movement Not Miracles today is all about backs. So my back is feeling a little stiff, so I thought we'd do some work on just working on all of our back, trying to get some movement back in my spine and working through some of the muscles, a bit of a stretch, a bit of mobility, to keep our backs nice and mobile, flexible, because they should move. They shouldn't be rock solid, and you can get a bit stiff and sore if they are, which is what I'm feeling today. So we're going to go through some various exercises, movement exercises to help you mobilise your back. And a real favourite, one that we do not every session but frequently, and it's a really good one to work your posture and your upper back, is shoulder rolls. So we can get very round shouldered sitting at desks or sitting still for a long period of time, which means these muscles shorten in our chest, pulling everything forwards, and our upper back, our shoulders blades don't move as well as they could, and we get stiff in our upper back. So rolling our shoulders back and stretching through the front of our chest can really help with our posture in our upper back. So standing or sitting nice and tall and with your weight evenly distributed in your left and right side. So weight through your left and right foot, or sitting on the bones of your bottom away from the back of the chair, sitting nice and tall. And to start off with, we're just encouraging our shoulders to come back and down without bums sticking out or ribs sticking out. So bottoms tucked under, we're not sticking our bottom out like this, bottoms tucked under, thinking of pushing your hips forward and keeping your belly fastened in, and just rolling your shoulders. So shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears and then squeezing your shoulder blades together as you roll them back round. And if you think of trying to move deliberately through every single nook and cranny in those shoulder joints to get as much movement as you can, relaxing through your arms and breathing as you're doing it. And actually, I'm getting some stretch through the muscles in my upper back. They've been working quite hard this week, so this is quite useful for them. Keeping your muscles moving is really easy if you've maybe done some exercise, something that's a little bit different than normal or a bit harder than normal, and you get the aches, the muscle aches after doing that, to think, oh, I'm not going to move them because they're really sore. But actually, that's the worst thing that you can do. Right, we're going to make this move a bit bigger now. So introducing our arms. Ooh, I can definitely feel that in the front of my chest as well. So arms back, squeezing those shoulder blades, getting those shoulder blades moving as much as you can. And we'll just increase the pace a little bit. You might want to do sort of one arm and then the other arm and get a bit of a twist at the same time. So the arm goes back, round and down. And hopefully that feels a bit better for me, so hopefully it feels a bit better for you. Now we're going to stretch a bit more of a concentrated stretch across our chest. So again, seated or standing, for this to happen, I'm just going to show you from the back. If you clasp your hands behind your back and just let them rest on your bum, and then think of, again, shoulders are already back and down, so we've not got our shoulders shrugged up by our ears. Shoulders back and down, and think of squeezing your shoulder blades together. So really squeezing your shoulder blades and think of this stretch across the front of your chest. So we're holding this, keeping breathing whilst you're holding the stretch. And again, not letting your bum stick out and your ribs flare like this. So bottom tucked under, so you need to work through your muscles in your bum and work through the muscles in your belly to look after your lower back. I'm just going to let Martha out because she's going to start scratching the door. There we go. Right, so we're going to do that again. So shoulders back and down and squeezing your shoulder blades together so you get a nice stretch across the front of your chest. So because if we sit round shouldered, these muscles can shorten. Stretching through your chest helps your back. So if your muscles are really tight in the front of your chest, it's really difficult for the muscles in your back to work as they should, and you are more likely to continue to be round shouldered. So there is method in my madness. Standing twist now, standing or seated. So we're going to twist through our spine, and we're aiming for as much movement through all of your spine. So you can cross your arms in front of you, but it doesn't really matter where your arms are. We're aiming for movement through the back, and we're going for mobility. So I'm going to let my arms swing from side to side, and I'm trying to work so that I've got as much movement through the whole of my back as I can. And each time you go around, see if you can move a little bit more. So my hips are moving as well at the moment. And just relax and keep breathing. Now I'm going to try and concentrate on my upper back a little bit more. So now, just like we did before, we're going to anchor. We're going to work through our butt and our belly to keep the lower half still. So you're going to fasten your lower part of your back so that it's not going to move. And now we're just going to work on moving through our upper back. So I think I talked about this, definitely talked about it last week. It might have been Tuesday, all the days are blending into one. But you know how you wring a towel? So you hold both ends and twist. Think of this bit is one end of the towel. So this bit is going to be twisting one way and the upper bit is twisting the other way. So as I'm twisting to my left, I'm working through my right leg and hip to push that the other way. And then the same on the other side. So I'm trying to get as much movement through my spine as I can. And I'm still breathing, but I am actually having to concentrate, which means I can't talk as much. So I'm trying to get... So you'll be using the muscles in your belly and the muscles in your back to get that twist, but you will be moving through your vertebrae as well, which is quite good. Right, Bendianas, side bends, another good old favourite for mobilising the back. I like to have my feet a little bit wider. I'm going to reach down one side and then down the other side, and that does feel rather stiff today. So just reaching down. We're going for mobility to start off with. Don't worry too much about how far you go. Exactly the same, pay attention to your lower back, so make sure your bottom is tucked under. We're not letting that lower back arch and then moving. That's really not good for you. So think of tilting your pelvis under and staying in that sideways move. So we're not leaning forwards to bend, we're moving sideways. So again, sitting or standing nice and tall with your weight evenly distributed, and then as far down that side as you can go. Oh goodness, my tummy's just growled. It's lunchtime and I'm hungry. Okay, so now we're going to reach up with the other arm. So now we're introducing a lot of a stretch down this side, which is quite nice, but means I can get a little bit further down. So we reach up and then over. Don't do what I just did and hold your breath. Try and keep breathing all the way through. Reach up as tall as you can and then over you go. Okay, so now we're going to go for a bit more of a stretch through the back. So you can do these seated or standing or actually on the floor. I'll show you the seated or standing version first, although I'm kneeling down, but imagine you sitting in a chair. So if you, let me turn side a little bit. So holding your hands out in front of you, you think of squeezing your shoulder blades together and pulling your arms back into your shoulders, again, without letting that happen. And then letting your chin drop to your chest, reach as far away as you can, so you get a nice stretch through your upper back. So if I was about to say, if I show you from the back, you'll be able to see the writing on my t-shirt move, but I haven't put my t-shirt on, so you can't see that happen. Let's see, I don't know whether you'll be able to see from behind. So here, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together, and then drop your chin and stretch all the way out, so my shoulder blades are moving out to the side. Now they're moving in, and now they're moving out, and that's really quite a nice stretch through my upper back. Another way of doing this is a cat camel, which you might have heard it called. So you can do this on the floor, kneeling on all fours with your hands directly underneath your shoulders, and arch your back up as far as you can, sucking your belly button in towards your chest, and then let your belly sink to the floor. Now, if you've got a little bit of a temperamental lower back, we go really steady with these. So nice and gentle, stretching up, and then sinking back down. And again, you're getting a bit of movement, but you're also getting some nice stretch through the muscles, and that feels quite nice. Okay. Oh, now, whilst I'm in this position, I'm going to do downward dog, which again is another really good all-over move, one that we do quite a lot, a good basic yoga move. I'm just trying to see whether my camera's set up in the right place to do this. So you can do this one if you're able to access the floor. If you are not and you're seated, then a forward bend, thinking of sticking your bottom backwards and folding forwards as if, again, think of, we talked about the towel twisting, now you're thinking of being stretched. So rather than just sort of folding down, which is just rounding everything, what we're aiming to do is to lengthen everything. So think of pushing your bottom backwards and as if someone's pulling you from your chest forwards, from your breastbone forwards, and then fold yourself down. So you can still get some of the benefits of this, a variation of downward dog. If you're doing downward dog, we're going to get some stretching in the back of our legs as well. Hands underneath your shoulders. As you lift up through your hips, push back through your arms, and you can see that we get that elongation through our spine. I've got my shoulder blades squeezed together. My shoulders are away from my ears, so I'm not hunching up like this. So I'm working quite hard through the muscles in the side of my shoulders, my lats. I'm trying to push my heels to the floor, which they don't go because my hamstrings are not that flexible. Okay, and down we come. So you get a bit more movement and a bit more of a stretch through your legs, works your hips, works your shoulders, as well as working through your back. But it's a really nice all over mobility and stretch position is downward dog. And it should feel like hard work. Things should feel like they are they are working. And the final one we're going to do today is a forward bend. So if you're seated, you can do the forward bend that you've just done again. If you have a bit of a dodgy lower back, then you need to be really careful with forward bends and either do them from a seated position, like I've just shown you. You can rest your arms against a window ledge or a work surface so that you can push down to extend through your armpits. Or you can do them against a wall if you can do them standing. So against a wall, or you can use again a work surface. I've got the radiator here. So you're pushing back and you are supported. So you're pushing back against the wall or the work surface and bending forwards, but your weight is supported through your hands so that you're not going to put a lot of pressure in your back. Now the benefit of, if you can do a full forward bend, and I'm not brilliantly flexible, so I can't do them, I can't fold myself in half, but if you can do a forward bend, you do get a bit more extension through your lower back, which can be quite nice. But you do which bit you can do and build them up gradually. So what we're aiming for, if you can do a full forward bend, I'm standing with my feet about hip width apart, again, just because my hamstrings are not brilliantly flexible and it allows me to get some movement through. So standing nice and tall, you're going to think of the same sort of action as I just showed you when you were seated. So your bottom goes back and think of everything coming up and over your legs, a bit like a fountain, and being pulled forward from my chest bone, and let your hands and your head relax. So you want to try and keep your legs vertical. As I'm looking in the camera, I have a habit of leaning back in my heels. So keeping your legs vertical and letting your head relax. Now, for me at the moment, this is all about legs, that's telling me my hamstrings are really tight, which is why my lower back is feeling some of the pressure. I need to do a bit more stretching through my hamstrings. If my hamstrings weren't as tight, I'd be able to get a little bit more movement and therefore some stretch through my back. But do you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm doing what I can do. And when you're in this position, you can just breathe nicely. Keeping your feet even on the floor. Don't let your feet roll out. Make sure you can feel your weight between the balls of your feet and your heels. Think of lifting up through the back of your legs. You can cross your arms above your head and pull down if that helps. And then we're just going to stand up. But if you've been doing a full forward bend like this, don't just stand up, you'll go dizzy. So think of rolling up one vertebra at a time, nice and slowly. There we go. Oh, my back definitely feels better than it did at the start, which is a positive. So Movement Not Miracles is all about bite-sized things, moves, stretches, mobility stuff that you can do throughout the day to help keep your joints mobile, ward off some of those aches and pains we get from sitting still for too long. And we have a full library of Movement Not Miracles sessions now because we've been doing these for a little while since the first lockdown. So check out the website www.eatmovebehappy.com if you want to go and look at some of the other variations. We do different ones mostly each time. Obviously the moves are repeated. But if I haven't covered something this week, we haven't done hips this week, for example, and if you wanted to work on hips, you'll find a session in there. We try and keep things as varied and as accessible as we can. And whilst you're on the website, you could check out some of the other online coaching to look after your health and well-being that's available. We do have funding for people who live in the Craven area or in the Bradford district if you're going through our new partners, Age UK Bradford. So have a little look at the website. Enjoy the rest of this cold, frosty, bright weather. I think the forecast is for this to disappear at the back end of the weekend, and I think maybe it's going to be rainy. So make the most of being able to get outside in the sunshine. Stay safe, stay well, and I will see you next Tuesday for more Movement Not Miracles. Thank you for watching. Oh, that was my knuckle.